I have done things that were just stupid, right? I've lost $270,000 in crypto because I thought I knew what I was doing. And I saw other people were making money. But for me, that was a bad decision. And I was educating myself. I was reading, right? And I didn't have someone who could help me along. I didn't have any experts. I was literally that person who was just Googling things. And, that set me back financially. That really hurt.
I love the freedom story, but I really love the get real part more, because I believe that on social media and just everywhere, we hear all the highlight reels of people's stories about getting to where they are now and how it seems like some overnight success when really, overnight is 10 years or 15 years or whatever it is. And it's a lot of, trials and tribulations and, teary nights and just, crazy roller coaster rides. Life is tough. And so I want to hear from you. I've got a few things that I actually wrote down that we can talk about, but you might naturally roll into them. What are some of the get real moments in your life, the pitfalls, the horrible experiences that you had to push through to get where you are today?
Well, I think, there's some of the difficulties of just the rigors of medical school, putting a lot of time in there, and residency, which isn't necessarily fun with the time. I think since my graduation, I've been a physician for almost 21 years. I think it's that realization, and I think this is the difficulty is, and this must, I'm sure, be the case with a lot of people you work with, is they're very smart people and they're very good at their jobs and what they do, but they're not experts in all these other things. And it's the same case with me, right? And I think we feel sometimes that, I'm a lawyer. I went through law school. I know all this case law. I memorized this case. I'm a doctor. I'm a dentist. I did all these things that probably most people can't do. And yes, you are an expert in that field, but you are not an expert in all fields. Mm-hmm. And when you go down the road of trying to become an expert in something, you have to realize that the people providing the information or what's out there, one, you're not sure how to vet it. You don't know what you don't know. And two, unless you are willing to put in the time that you put in for the other specialty you have, the other job you have, why would you expect the same results?
That's right.
I don't think people think about that. It's kind of this, I went to college, I went to medical school, I went to residency, I went to fellowship. So if I were to dedicate 60 hours a week for 8 years, I hope that I probably would know maybe as much as you. But I'm not going to do that, right? And so it really hit home to me, and that's why I feel financially and with how I manage my money now, it's about trust, because that's especially in the past however many years, and I'll meet with the patient and they'll be like, oh, well, I Googled this, and you're like, oh, okay, I understand you've read something on the internet, but that might not be true. And I realized that was me. Right? I read this on the internet of what to invest, or I should do this or that. And you have to, I mentioned control, where you have to be able to cede some control and have some control to get freedom. And the ceding of that control is when you partner up or find someone where you realize, look, this person knows more than me. And that's a good thing, because you want to be working with an expert. And I trust you. And I think that's very similar to a relationship someone has with their physician, right? You hopefully, when you see your doctor, they know more than you, right? You want to see an expert and you trust them. If you don't have those three components when you see a doctor, you probably shouldn't have a relationship with them. And I think that's what started our relationship together. When I came to the office, I think people are so surprised if I sometimes talk to people about that. Like, oh, you met them in person? It's like, yeah, I did. I was there. They have a building. They have employees. I saw everything. And they really spent time with me. And so that was a big step for me, because I have done things that were, just to be honest, just stupid, right? I've lost $270,000 in crypto because I thought I knew what I was doing. And I saw other people were making money. Now we're not going to go down that road, but for me,
thank you.
That was a bad decision. And I was educating myself. I was reading, right? And I didn't have someone who could help me along. I didn't have any experts. I was literally that person who was just Googling things, and that set me back financially. That really hurt. And I think that, and seeing the stock market, and I've had didn't happen to me, thankfully, but my brother was trying to do Forex and this and that kind of thing, and lost a lot of money. And I said, you know what? I'm not interested in losing money anymore. I don't want to follow the market every day. There's no way I can do that, right? There's people who do that 8 hours a day and they still lose money, and I'm not interested.
Man, that is so powerful. I love the comparison of the doctor and then you learning something new, like you go to your doctor and you trust them, right? And you don't expect to be a doctor yourself. You're not going to go to school. And people just think if there's real estate or some other things, stocks, crypto, there's such a low barrier of entry. They think they're going to go in there and go ahead and do a great job. And then we hear horror stories of a time lost, money lost, the frustration, the self-doubt, trying something new and then realizing that they couldn't do it, and not putting two and two together that, hey, it takes time and you didn't give yourself the time to be able to do it. You thought this was going to be a side hustle that you could learn in a couple months or something. I think that's something that people don't really think about, and we've actually never heard the story in the way that you just shared it.
Nothing on this show should be considered specific, personal, or professional advice. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, real estate, financial, or business professional for individualized advice. Opinions and information on the show are not guaranteed. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss.